SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
As long as we know that there is just one kind of line, that is a contour line, and the contour line is also very flat, mechanical, as we find lines in most of the softwares, where we do not go for a line with any variation. It is just a single line, or when we produce a line with the help of a ruler that operates our hand, or with the help of the other tools from the geometry set, where we have a pencil compass or something, where we are totally operated by another instrument, and we do not change or make variation in the pressures that we create on a line. It gives us a particular characteristic of a line. So, it is very well defined. Maybe we use those kind of lines in comics, caricatures, in newspapers, for different other expressions also, where we do not want our expression, our emotion to intervene much. So, it totally depends on what we are doing, what we are trying to represent, what we are trying to express through our communication, and that way we decide to choose a line. So, the moment we have a range of different kind of lines available in our hand, that we have also explored in our previous lecture, that we have lines, of course, the contour line is there. We also have gesture lines, we have implied lines, we have psychic lines, we have many other kind of lines which are not very explicit. We also have lines where we have we deliberately show some hesitation of our mind into it, just to show our agitation, or this kind of negative emotions. So, everything is possible. So, we are gifted or provided with a range of line, and then it becomes a challenge to make the right decision, which line to choose for what purpose. So, let us try and see that with some examples, that how we choose a line as per a particular need. So, our focus for this lecture will be how to make a decision and how to choose line as per their characteristic strength. So, when we are told specifically to make a line to give some information. So, it is more like when we create a drawing in for biology, or for some kind of a demonstration, that somebody asks you to make a leaf. We make a shape that is as simple as this. With the simple observation, we create a form that is a leaf. Now, we can also be told that to make a leaf which is a particular leaf. So, we take some natural reference, we get the shape right, we observe different formation, whether they are actually arranged at the either side, or they have some kind of a alternative formation, or they are just going in the same direction. Do they really start from one point and ends at the edge, or even like it can be ending somewhere else. So, there are different kind of formation. It can also happen that all these lines may start from one point and go till the edge. We make different observation, because our aim there is to talk about the particular leaf that we are creating. So, a line drawing can be highly descriptive, highly informative, We can also observe a lot of things in this kind of creations, that we have a leaf and not all lines inside the surface ends at the edge of it. It appears to be coming to the edge, but we find another border that comes between. So, it is another formation. So, these three leaves, although they are very similar in shape and they all fall under the quality of, under the category of leaf, but they are very different in their characteristic features. So, let us see some more, maybe a roundish leaf, some very thin and long leaf like a bamboo leaf, let us make a mango leaf, so the mango leaf will have a particular formation that will give it the identity. They are usually folded. So, these are a common formation that will give it its identity. A bamboo leaf will look very different from that, but these are the identifiable features, and that is how we mark them, but they are not that important. It is very important that we get back and we choose the right line to give it a proper formation. So, we go back to the next step. We know that some leaves are glossy, some are matte, some are rough, some are very smooth. So, we also can get that surface quality through this rendering. So, if a leaf is very glossy and shiny, we need to leave some area almost white and thin, so that it looks as if the surface is very glossy. So, the contour line will change accordingly. Because of the thick line, this is looking like a jackfruit leaf. We got the shape right, but it also has a wax coat that makes it very glossy, but in this line drawing things are not that glossy. So, we need to sharpen our pencil and get lines which are thinner. We can also make it very thin. This gap will provide us with some sense of reflective light. We will feel that the light is falling on a very glossy surface, and we do not get to see the contour line, it is suddenly missing there. And by changing the dark and light formation on the leaf, we can give it a sense of a gloss. So, this will not really glow unless we have a very dark part along with the contrasted light color in it. So, that way we can create a glossy surface or maybe a matte surface like we see in a bamboo leaf, which has multiple lines and it has a linear formation. If we put it out, then it goes dull very soon, it gets folded and we hardly get to see anything. So, it is also another adventure to draw the bamboo leaf perfectly. So, these are the different character of line and formation that we have seen there. But now, when we do not consider any of them, whether they are glossy or matte or rough or smooth, we need to be more descriptive while making a drawing. Then a leaf how you introduce your child with a form will be something, maybe when we use another kind of a point to make it. It is very thick. So, we do not specify what leaf it is, but this is a leaf that is an ideal leaf. So, this is like a broader category that gets formed here. So, we call it the ideal leaf, and we understand that there can be variation of a leaf. A leaf can also look like this or like this or even like this, but we standardize it with a line drawing that is very loud and clear, the thick and prominent with no ambiguity, no confusion, and that is another characteristic of a leaf. So, we need to know in which purpose we are choosing a line for. So, let us put some natural example. This is how it looks in nature when you pluck them from a tree. So, here in this particular shape, what we see that it is a formation where you get some natural formation which are not always very perfect, but in reference to this objects we can also produce a drawing, how we follow the drawing in nature. It is very interesting how we try to give an impression of a particular color through the line drawing, which is purely value based. So, in a drawing of a flower like this, when we are supposed to show a flower which is there in white, how to maintain that whiteness in the white drawing. Let us explore that. So, to begin, we are taking a thin pencil and we are trying to draw the same flower. We make these lines a little darker, then we make the twigs as per the natural formations. Now, these flowers are made out of a surface that is white, and we also have a white background for it. So, the moment we make the flower with the same thickness of line, the color of the flower will change. So, it will give us a wrong information. So, get the information right, we need to know that the contour line has to be even lighter than the other surfaces that we have created earlier, because here we are not applying any stroke on the surface, but producing a line drawing. So, in this line drawing we need to be extra careful to remain or maintain the whiteness of the petals. So, we will change the characteristic of the line formation. Now, we can create some variation in the other parts and produce a line drawing where the material of the surface, which is a natural surface with some variation in the line with the dark and light formation, we are able to create the difference between the twig and the flower, the surface quality of the two elements. So, that is a simple line drawing of the same object. Now, let us also see how we can produce another line drawing with the reference that was there in our hand. So, when we see this, we can also make a two-dimensional pattern out of it. That is not very difficult if we go by the surface quality and also measure the interrelationship between the different shapes that is there with slight variation. We measure the negative space and we can create that, and also we can create a surface volume, and we can give the sense of color also with the use of line. Let us see how we can do it. We will partially solve the problem and see how lively the drawing can be. So, in this surface, this is more wooden, this is more glossy and soft, and we need to maintain the quality in the line drawing when we are not making the surface as such. So, let us see. We will draw it partially. Let us work on these two leaves. This particular leaf is slightly lifted on its surface. It has another part which is more lifted and overlapped almost. So, we will maintain the overlapping by erasing off the lines that are not needed and make the lower lines continuous. So, we may not need the whole drawing with the texture and the surface to give us the identity of a particular shape. So, we get to see a lot of images like that can be drawn with the help of lines itself. In our next lecture, we are going to see more possibilities of the use of contour line, gesture line, and also the psychic line formation with more examples from nature and also from our imagination.